Breaking news, Cowboys fans? The real reason Dallas isn't landing big free agents? It's not Jerry Jones, it's his son, Steven. A bombshell report just exposed the power struggle in the Cowboys' front office, and it might explain why America's team keeps falling short. Is Steven Jones the hidden roadblock to a Super Bowl run? Stay tuned as we dive deep into the drama that's rocking the foundation of the Dallas Cowboys. Hey there, Cowboys Nation! Welcome to Dallas Cowboys Fan, your ultimate destination for all things America's team. Whether you bleed blue and silver or are just starting to catch Cowboys fever, this is the place. If you are a diehard fan, please make sure to subscribe for more latest news and updates of your favorite team. A bombshell report by Tyler Dunn of Go Long has just dropped, and it's turning the narrative about the Cowboys' free agency strategy on its head. For years, we've all been led to believe that Jerry Jones, the Cowboys' larger-than-life owner, was the one holding back on spending big in free agency. But folks, it looks like we've all been barking up the wrong tree. According to Dunn's report, it's actually Steven Jones, Jerry's son, and the team's executive vice president, who's been the voice of caution when it comes to opening up the checkbook. This revelation is sending shockwaves through the NFL community and leaving Cowboys fans with a lot of questions. Let's rewind the clock a bit to set the stage. Earlier this year, Jerry Jones made headlines when he declared that the Cowboys were going all in this offseason. Now, for a team that hasn't made it to the NFC Championship game since the 1995 season, this was music to fans' ears. Everyone thought, this is it. The Cowboys are finally going to make some big moves in free agency and put us over the top. But then, as the free agency period rolled around, something strange happened, or rather, nothing happened. The Cowboys were eerily quiet, while other teams were making splashy signings left and right. Fans were left scratching their heads, wondering what happened to that all-in mentality Jerry had promised. Enter Steven Jones with an explanation that, on the surface, seemed to make sense. He claimed that the team couldn't afford to bring in high-priced free agents because they needed to save money for upcoming contract extensions. We're talking about the big three here: quarterback Dak Prescott, wide receiver CeeDee Lamb, and defensive phenom Micah Parsons. Now, that sounds reasonable, right? I mean, we all know how important it is to keep your homegrown stars happy. But here's where things start to get a little fishy. As of now, none of those big extensions have actually materialized. If they had, it could have potentially freed up some cap space for the Cowboys to make moves in free agency. So what gives? Steven's been particularly vocal about avoiding what he calls the first wave of free agency. His argument is that the market is inflated during this period, and teams end up overpaying for talent. It's a classic case of supply and demand. When everyone's shopping, prices go up. But not everyone in the Cowboys organization is buying this cautious approach. In fact, Dunn's report suggests that there's some serious head-scratching going on in the front office. Some personnel members are starting to wonder if Steven's strategy might be holding the team back from reaching that elusive Super Bowl. They've got a point, too. Just look at some of the recent Super Bowl contenders. The Los Angeles Rams went all in, trading draft picks for established stars, and it paid off with a Lombardi trophy. The San Francisco 49ers haven't been shy about making big moves either, and they've been knocking on the door of a championship. And let's not forget the Kansas City Chiefs, who've shown a willingness to bring in key free agents to complement their homegrown core. So where does this hesitation come from? Well, according to a longtime Cowboys insider quoted in Dunn's report, it all traces back to 1995. That was the year Jerry Jones made the blockbuster signing of Deion Sanders, bringing prime time to Dallas in a move that helped secure their last Super Bowl victory. But apparently, that aggressive move left a lasting impression on Steven. Ever since then, Steven has reportedly been the voice of caution in the Cowboys front office. He's often the one pulling Jerry back from making those splash signings in free agency. It's almost like he's still feeling the aftershocks of that seismic Sanders signing nearly 3 decades later. Instead of making waves in free agency, the Cowboys have doubled down on a different strategy. They've focused on building through the draft and rewarding their homegrown talent. On paper, it's a solid approach. After all, who doesn't love a team that develops its own stars? But there's a catch, and it's a big one. The Cowboys have a tendency to wait too long to extend their star players. We're seeing it play out right now with Prescott, Lamb, and Parsons. By waiting, they risk the players' values skyrocketing, making negotiations more difficult and potentially eating up more cap space in the long run. This approach has had a domino effect on their draft strategy too. Because they're not addressing immediate needs in free agency, the Cowboys often find themselves reaching for players to fill specific positions in the draft. Instead of taking the best player available, they're drafting for need, which can lead to missed opportunities and reaching for players who might not pan out. Now, it's important to remember that while Steven might be the voice in Jerry's ear, Jerry Jones is still the man with the final say. He holds the purse strings, and ultimately, the buck stops with him. But this report suggests that if Cowboys fans are frustrated with the team's lack of splashy moves, they might want to redirect some of that frustration towards the younger Jones. But let's play devil's advocate for a moment. Is Steven's cautious approach really such a bad thing? In a salary cap era, where financial mismanagement can cripple a franchise for years, maybe there's something to be said for fiscal responsibility. The Cowboys have managed to remain competitive year after year, even if they haven't reached the pinnacle of success. On the flip side, the NFL is a league where the window of opportunity can slam shut in an instant. With a roster full of prime talent like Prescott, Lamb, and Parsons, are the Cowboys squandering their chance at a championship by not going all in? Now I want to hear from you, Cowboys Nation. What do you think about this report? Do you side with Steven's cautious approach, or do you think it's time for the Cowboys to go all in? Is this the reason the Cowboys haven't been able to get over the hump, or are there other factors at play? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's get a discussion going. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more in-depth NFL news and analysis. We've got plenty more stories like this coming your way. Until next time, keep that star shining bright, and remember, whether you're Team Jerry or Team Steven, we're all rooting for those Cowboys to bring the Lombardi Trophy back to Dallas. See you in the next video.